YouTube, we are live. Hey, everybody, this is Raymond, and I am live for another video. If you are watching this on the replay, I want to introduce myself. My name is Raymond, and I am a used car dealer here in Georgia. Oh, sorry, my car lot is in Alabama. I live in Georgia. One second, let's. Okay. Perfect. Just wanted to check my audio. And I hope that you find my channel of substance. If you're looking at anything as far as owning your own used car dealership, opening your own used car dealership, what are some of the steps you can take? What are some of the things that you can do? This channel is all about that. So I hope that you get that information. I have about 50 videos now. So anything from looking at previewing your cars at the auction and how to identify cars at the auction that would fall in your price point of under $1,200. So again, that is who I am. So thank you. Go ahead and hit the subscription button. All right. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this channel. Thank y'all for tuning in. We got one person watching so far. I know you're probably looking at all of the new background and everything. So this is going to be the new platform. It is a cool platform that gives us the ability to interact at a greater level. Also, if you're watching this live right now, I'm going to go ahead and put a link in here where you can join me on screen. And you can we can go ahead and have some Q&A, some real Q&A. So the first thing I want you to do is you'll see that link there at the bottom of the screen. I'm also going to put it in the chat box. So you can click on that link and you can come into the studio with me. And we can get on here and talk. Only thing you have to do is click on the link, have a smartphone, and jump on here. And we can have some conversations. And I wanted to make this video today or come on today just to kind of have some chat time. I don't have a whole lot of substance today, but I'm here to answer any questions. One of a couple things I'm going to talk about today is transporting your own vehicles. So we're going to start off there. Do you transport your own cars? What is the appeal to doing it? What is the disadvantage of doing it? Is it worth it? What are some of the equipment you got to have to do that? I mean, you're talking about having a truck, you got to have a trailer, and you got to do all of these things. Is it worth it? We're going to find out. And I'm going to give you my answer. All right, so all of you guys know that I just purchased, well, let me not say all of you guys know, but some of you guys who have been following the channel know that I recently purchased a Super Duty, a 250 Ford F-250 Super Duty. And the reason for me buying that truck was to haul my own vehicles from the auction. Well, some things have changed a little bit in my thought process with doing that. The reason is because I have been hard pressed to find a two-car trailer within spec of the vehicle of the truck. So the Super Duty has a towing capacity of, I think, 12,500 pounds. At the hitch, though, on the back of the truck is rated at 5,000 pounds. All right, so that presents a challenge. So now we're talking about doing a gooseneck trailer where the actual trailer hooks into the bed. All right. So when you start talking about trailers hooking into the bed, now you're talking about pulling some serious weight in a sense. But you can get a gooseneck trailer that is a two-car trailer for, you know, decent ratings as far as the weight requirement and still be able to accomplish the goal. But you are pulling a trailer with a gooseneck, which means the trailer is sitting in the bed of the truck. Okay. So it changes some of the dynamics of the truck a little bit. For instance, if you have a blowout, it could be catastrophic. So that's stuff to think about. And that's one of the things that I have considered very heavily about transporting my own vehicles now with that truck. Now, some would say, well, just get a tag along, get something to go behind it. Just do the tag along. Well, the tag along is good until you are pulling a heavy weighted trailer. And then you're over your 5,000 pound towing capacity on the hitch on the back of the truck. So with that being said, I have went back and forth with this issue pretty much almost all my career with cars. Do I pay for transportation or do I pull my own cars? I think I'm leaning towards now of going ahead and continuing to pay for transportation to haul the vehicles, because if I really want to do it the right way, I am going to have to get a serious truck, probably more like a 3500 Dodge Ram, the Cummins, or a 350 dually or something like that. But you got to have a dually. And my truck is just a single axle, single tire on the back. It's not a dually. So it makes you consider that weight distribution a little bit differently when you're talking about pulling something with the gooseneck and it being loaded down. I don't think that that's the best approach. So I am going to convey to y'all too, to just consider, just do your research on that, because I feel that although it is an expense to have your cars transported to you, it is an expense. But for the most part, you can put that into the price of the vehicle and be okay. So you're not truly paying for it, but you are paying for it because you're not actually paying for it in the bottom line, because you're just bumping up the price to cover that expenditure. But one would argue, well, you could have sold the car maybe a little quicker without having that additional fee. But the fees are very sparing in compared to the grand scheme of things. All right. So when you're talking about touring your own cars with your own personal truck and trailer, you're limited to weight. That's the first thing you're limited to. The second thing you're limited to is the equipment that you have. I mean, the trailers are not cheap. The last couple prices that I've looked at for goosenecks, you're talking about $6,000 to $7,000 for a 2-car hauler. And now, again, that's new for the most part. On used, you probably can get one for about $5,000. I don't see you getting one less than $4,000, at least not in the Atlanta area. So that presents a challenge. So you're looking at about $4,000 for the actual trailer. And then you have to buy the vehicle to transport and haul the trailer. So one of those Dodge 3500 Cummins, or you could do a 350, or you could do a 250, take the bed off, do the wedge, maybe something like that, or even a 350 with the dually is what I would do, though. I wouldn't do a single axle with a gooseneck, because it just runs the risk of those tires being a concern. If you lose one, on one side, and you're loaded down with a gooseneck with 2 cars behind you, that can be pretty scary. But if you have a dually with that gooseneck and those that loaded down gooseneck, you're in a little bit of a better situation. So when you start talking about the value of the cost of the truck, I mean, if you can get one at the auction for about 8 or 9. A good one. I'm talking about a good one. I'm not talking about just a truck with a dually, but a good one for I would say about 7 to 9. But a really good one. Most times, people that are going to be transporting cars typically buy new because of the reliability aspect. Now, again, you got to think about it. You're the dealer, so you are hauling your own car, so you're not doing it for a business. Right? You're doing it just to get your cars to and from. So when you add up all of that and you start talking about the money that it costs to do all of that, it adds up pretty quickly. And now, once you've divvied up all of the money, you got to start talking about the regulations, the weight limit. So the Department of Transportation of the United States has a weight limit of 26,000, I think 26,500, before you have to have a Class A CDL to pull that trailer. Now, what they don't say is the Department of Transportation consider anything 10,000 pounds or more combination weight as commercial. Commercial vehicles must be registered with the Department of Transportation, right? So then you talk about DOT numbers. Now, when you start talking about DOT numbers, you got to start talking about the regulations for DOT. You got to start talking about having a logbook. You got to start talking about physicals. You got to start talking about all different types of things. And is it worth it to save $125 a car? I don't think so, right? Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about $125 on average. In most cases, I'll finish talking about the transportation, the things that you got to do to get your transportation set up. So you got the DOT stuff, you got all of that, and it's a process that you got to go through. With that being said, you're probably looking at 8 plus 4. You're looking at $12,000 to between $12,000 and $15,000 for equipment. That's the trailer and the truck. And then you start talking about the weight of it all, right? Trying to stay under 26,500. And then you start talking about the actual DOT requirements of being over 10,000, because once you go over those scales and you're 10,000 or over, now they're going to say that this is a commercial vehicle. Then now you got to start talking about the requirements with the DOT. All right. So then when you go through the weigh stations, you see how the story is going on and on. When you go through the weigh stations, you have to be accountable for all of those things, because now you're considered a commercial vehicle. Well, one would say, well, I'll register the truck and the trailer in my own name, and this is my personal vehicle. Well, you can do that, but they still consider it being 10,000 pounds or over a commercial vehicle, which means all commercial vehicles must be registered with the Department of Transportation by way of a DOT number. So it just gets crazy for no reason, really. So now let's talk about the other side of the spectrum, actually paying for transportation. So most of your dealers, you should be using Central Dispatch. That's a highly recommended site, in my opinion. There are other competing ones like Run Buggy. I hate them, by the way. I do not recommend Run Buggy because, and I'll tell you the differences here in a minute. So I would recommend Central Dispatch for all of your requirements for transportation. So Central Dispatch. You have that, and what you do is you put your vehicle out to be bidded on to get the vehicles transported to your lot from the auction. Central Dispatch does have a monthly subscription, and they do it by how many posts you can do in a month. So they start out, I think it was 6, and then it goes up to 10. Is it 20 or 10? I think it goes up to 20, something like that. But basically, there's limits to how many posts you can do on a monthly subscription based on the tier that you pay for. So basically, you put it in there, put the job out there. So you would go in and you would say, I got 2 cars coming from Fairburn, Georgia, going down to Phoenix City, Alabama, right? Let's just use that for an example. Odessa Auto Auction is in Fairburn. So what I do is I put those vehicles in Central Dispatch, and then the transporters would actually go ahead and call me up on the phone and say, hey, man, I saw your load out of Fairburn going to Phoenix City. Is it still available? And then we would say, yeah, if it's still available. If it's not, then we would say that too. Then we start to negotiate on, okay, when can you get it to my lot? When can you have it picked up? Blah, blah, blah. All right. So you do that, and then you're done. They go pick the car up. They drop it off at your lot. So typically, what most haulers that I pay for, I'll tell you what I typically pay. I typically pay $1 or less per mile. Okay. So Fairburn to Phoenix City is 98 miles exactly. So for one car, I'm going to pay $98 to get it from Fairburn to Phoenix City. $98. Okay. So you do that times how many ever cars you got. If you want to give them a little bit more, you could do maybe $100, make it even $100, or you can do $105 per car. Whatever the case may be, the more you pay per mile, the more likely you are to get your cars assigned out quickly. So that's the flip side. Versus going through all of the hassle of having a trailer, having a truck, you can do that. We do have a question. I'll put it on the screen here. Tim in Florida says, can you repeat the 10,000 pound combined rule again? Did you mean 10,000 on a trailer? So the Department of Transportation, Tim, actually says that they look at the combined weight. So it is the weight of the truck, and then the weight of the trailer, and then the weight of the car that you're hauling. All of that encompasses the weight overall. Okay. It looks like everybody went away. So hopefully you got that. My participants went down to 0. So I don't know why that happened, but hopefully you're watching that answer, Tim in Florida. That is the way the Department of Transportation does it. It's a combination weight, all of them encompassing all of them together. Okay. But needless to say, it is very cost effective just to ship your own cars versus paying the cost to do that. I mean, now, again, everybody has a different pocket. Everybody has a different pocket, and everybody can do their own thing. But I don't think it's wise, in my opinion, to cough up, between 12 and 18 to $20,000 just to be able to do that. Now, one would say this. Now, here's the solution to the problem. Okay, I give you the solution. I'm not one to tell you what you can't do without giving you any type of, I guess, common sense approach to do it. Now, what you can do is you can do a one-car hauler. Okay, a one-car hauler, you're going to be under your 5,000 pounds on the hitch typically. So you can get away with a one-car hauler. So here's how the Department of Transportation work, in my opinion. Anytime they see a truck going down the road with a gooseneck, and for all of you guys that don't know what a gooseneck trailer looks like, I'm going to show you really quick here, because we're using a different platform, guys. So I can show you guys different things and have fun with it. Let's see here. I'm pulling up the gooseneck trailer now because I want to make sure people understand what it is that I'm talking about. That's all I want to do. Just want to show you what I'm talking about. All right. That's all I want to do. All right, now let's get back here and I'll cast that on the screen so you guys can see that. Give me 1 second. All right, and I'm going to share my screen here. Share my screen, applications. All right, so that is a gooseneck trailer, guys. So you see the neck that goes inside of the bed. That part that's hanging down at the bottom goes inside of the bed, and you will have a hitch that you have in the bed of your truck, and that goes down. That is called the gooseneck. So in most cases, when they see that gooseneck there, they are going to automatically, undoubtedly, get behind you and see what credentials you have, because they already know you're overweight, right? They already know you're overweight. And so what's going to happen is you're going to be overweight. You're not going to have a CDL. Because once you're over 26,500, you have to have a Class A CDL license. You're not going to have a DOT number. You're not going to have any of these things. And guess what you're going to get? A $10,000 fine. That's what you're going to get. So either you go ahead and use a site like Central Dispatch to ship your cars and do it the right way. You know what I mean? But at least that's what the direction that I'm going to do. I bought this Super Duty with all good intentions. And sometimes what I do, sometimes I get ahead of myself just a little bit. And I think we all have that in us where we get ahead of ourselves just a little bit. But, you got to make sure you do it, the right way. Yeah, so that's that. All right, Booda says, what's up, Raymond? What's good? What's going on tonight? Nothing much, man. We're talking about transporting your own vehicles versus having them shipped via Central Dispatch, the pros and cons of that. I'm on the side of actually now just going ahead and paying to have that car shipped there. Typically about $1 a mile. If you keep your auctions tight, you won't go over about $125. And now if your auction is right there in town, like I have another auction in Phoenix City that is literally down the street from me, I'm going to drive my car to the lot, right? So obviously that's the case with that. So the whole moral of this was to say whether or not you should drive it long distance, right? Also, guys, I want to let you guys know in the comment section, you can click on that link in the comments, and you can actually come on here with me. I can bring you on the screen, and you can ask your questions face to face with everybody. So go ahead, somebody jump in here, click on that link. I want to see you come on the screen and be a part of the conversation. The link is right up at the top. So just click on that and you can come up here and ask me your question live. But that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about, transporting your cars, and anything else is Q&A, so just jump on here with me and let's make it happen. All right, Nick Hoffman says, sorry, Ray, I've missed last couple live videos. Hey, that's okay, man. You're here now, so that's all that matters. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your support. We're doing another Q&A. Anything goes, all questions. Also, Nick, I was just saying where you can get on here and you can see, you can come online here and chat with me in person, and you can come up and I can hear you, you can hear me, and we can do it that way too. So if you're up to that, go ahead and click on that link and come on in. Anybody else has any other questions? I want to get some questions tonight. We're all here. Let's have some fun. Everything is on topic, so just come on and ask your questions, and let's see what we got. So I got a question for you, Tim, in Florida, if you're still with me. What are you typically doing to transport your cars? Booda, same question to you. Nick, same question to you. Are you guys transporting your cars yourself by pulling it, the tow dolly or a trailer, a car hauler? Or are you driving them in from the auction? Are you hiring other drivers to drive them for you? What are you guys doing? I'm waiting for y'all answers. I'm waiting for y'all's answers. And there is a little bit of a lag. So if you see that I haven't like acknowledged your question right away, it's a little bit of a lag. And also, guys, let me know how y'all like the new platform. I got my whole background in the back and all this good old jazz. So let me know if y'all are feeling the vibe with that. And it gives me the ability to do a little bit more. One of these videos, I'm going to, looks like we got somebody. Nick is here. I'm going to share my screen with Dwayne Reeves. Nick, I'm about to bring you in. Are you ready? Just do a thumbs up. Okay, he's ready. All right, Nick, man, how are you doing? It's good to see you.
Hey, brother, we're doing good here in Houston. I really appreciate everything and all the information you share with us. It is very, very valuable.
Cool.
And I look forward. Sorry, I missed the last couple videos, but the people that ain't watching, the people that ain't watching you, they are missing out big time.
Right. And I appreciate it. Yeah, it's all about, it's all about just giving it information. You know what I mean? I don't think you should be selfish with it. I think we all go through learning curves. We can all, each one teach one. We all kind of are on the same pursuit to that same place of success. So, hey, if I'm a little bit ahead of you, I can, give you some stuff, and vice versa. If you're ahead of me, I want you to extend, some of that knowledge so it can make my ride a little bit easier. So Nick, tell me, what are you?
I'm out of Houston. I'm out of Houston, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And I am so close to getting my dealer license.
Okay.
Now all I lack is my surety bond. I've already got my federal tax ID, sales tax ID, and now I need to do my surety bond, my application, and then find a location. And I guess one of the questions is, to start out, instead of a car lot, I'm seeing some guys getting like an office space with 2 or 3 lots.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a feasible way to start?
Absolutely. Whatever way you can start is the best way to start. That's my first answer to that. When I first started, and I don't talk about this a lot, and I guess I should, I started in a broker's office here in Georgia. It's similar to there in Texas. I think in Texas, you guys are able to actually, I think you guys got to have a certain amount of assigned spaces. Is that the case? Like at least one assigned space? Right. Yep. All right. So here in Georgia, it's a little different. The only thing we have to have is a room. Wow. And so they have these big warehouses here in Georgia where they take let's just say a 10,000 square feet warehouse, and then they go in and they subdivide it to like 8 by 10 rooms basically, and they just rent all of those rooms out to aspiring dealers, and that's how some people open. That's how I opened. I opened that way in February of 2019. By March, well, I'll just say April 1, 2019, I was in my own lot. So I use that as a bridge to get open, and then transition that into actually finding that lot whenever that opportunity presented itself, it is a challenge. You're not the only one that's going to go through it. You're going to go through it. It's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult. The best thing I would tell you to do is get in your car, ride around, and just keep looking, because you got a lot of mom and pop type landlords that aren't savvy with getting it online. And so they may just have a little sign in the front window that says for rent. And it could be that gold mine.
And see, I've been thinking about too, looking at like an enclosed warehouse that may hold like 10 or 12, 15 cars. Sometimes you can find a deal. You just got to be at the right place at the right time.
That's it.
And so, but no, man, I appreciate your feedback. And by the way, I do have I got an 07 Ford F-350 with a 6.0.
Okay.
And
hell 6.0.
I got the 5-inch exhaust. It's been bulletproof.
Cool.
Aftermarket turbo. Okay.
So you got the whistle.
Air intake and 47 gears, and I'm getting 25 miles a gallon.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You can hear it all through my neighborhood. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, man. I'm in debates right now on mine. I don't, like I said, I bought mine with the sole purpose of doing it for the hauling other vehicles, but I may keep it. We'll see. Well, all right, Nick, man, I appreciate. Did you freeze? I think you froze. I think Nick froze there for a minute. Okay, I think you're back now. But I appreciate you coming on, man. Hopefully you like the content that's going to be coming up. I'm going to get here.
If you do it right.
Go ahead.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thank you very much, Ray. I appreciate you.
No, what was your last thought? Okay, we're having a little technical difficulties there. I'm going to go ahead and let Nick go. But I appreciate Nick coming in, man. And that's what I want you guys to do. So again, that link is up there on the screen. Click that link in the top of the chat box, and you can just click on it and come on in here and chat. I'm going to go ahead and put some of these questions up now. All right, Nick, I'll catch you later, man. Did you? Okay, cool. So here, Booda has a response to my question. I run a Ram 1500 with a trailer from U-Haul. All right, so you're doing those one at a time. So I mean, sometimes you just got to do what you can. Because I buy my cars so widespread. Like I bought 3 yesterday in Fairburn, right? So 3 in Fairburn. I really can't do mine one at a time. I wish I could, but I just can't. It won't make sense for me to do them one at a time. But that's good, man. Booda, do what you have to do to get where you need to get. Period. All right, Blackheart is with me. I'm currently free handling, depending on how far and how many. Okay, maybe rent a haul. Maybe rent a haul dually or pay folks to drive them back. All right, sounds good. I mean, I think you just, like you said, just got to do what you got to do to do what you got to do. Do you guys have any other questions? Anything? Anybody want to come up here? Nick has already broke the ice. Y'all click that doggone link and come up here. Let me see your face and let's have a conversation. Again, all you got to do is click it. It's right there at the top of the chat. Go ahead and click it. And let me see if I got some more questions that I can answer here. I load up the truck with drivers and bring them all back. Got it. There you go. Booda, why haven't you clicked the link? Get on up here, man. Let's have a conversation. I want to ask you some more questions about that. How many do you have that don't make it back to the lot versus how many that make it back? But again, you are doing cars that are, I think you said mid to entry level. So that may be a difference. For me, I'm telling you, man, I went to the lot today and I looked at my cars. I had, so I bought 3 cars. And Let's see. About oh, actually I can show y'all what I bought. Let's do that. I'm gonna log into my Odessa. So this is 100% transparency, guys. You don't see a lot of YouTubers doing this, that's for sure. Showing y'all everything. I'm logging into my screen now, so I'm not looking at the chat box. So, but still, go ahead and throw your questions in there. Um, Throw your questions in there, and then I'm gonna share. I'm gonna share my screen of showing you guys what I bought on yesterday, so you can kind of see like a little bit more in person of what I'm doing. Let's see. All right. So let me go ahead and share this with y'all. All right. 1 second, guys. I'm gonna pull up my my Odessa for y'all, so y'all can see it. Okay. Wait a minute. All right. I'm gonna take Booda question off, and then I'm gonna make that bigger. I don't even know if y'all can see that. I think it may be too small. Let me see if I can make it bigger for y'all. Let me look at this chat. See, okay, so that's bigger. All right, so that's what I bought, guys. We bought a 2004 Chevrolet Impala. This car has actually a valve cover gasket leak, so it's got oil coming out with the smoke under the hood. It's not too bad, but it's there. And then we bought a 2006 Ford Fusion. This car runs like total crap. I mean, it runs like crap. So this car, I would not have wanted to. I would have not made it back to my lot. I don't even think I would have tried to. This car, I probably wouldn't have made it back. And then, and then I bought this 2006 Scion. Well, I can't scroll over to show you guys what I paid for them. Let me see here. Bear with me, guys. This is all new to me, so I want to make sure I show y'all the information. That I'm a legend that I'm doing. So with the Chevrolet Impala, I paid $355 including the fees. With the Fusion, I paid $990. With the 2006 Scion T6, I paid $790 out the door. And so these are out the door. These are with the buy fees in them, and that's 100% transparency right there. So, but I bring that up to show while we're talking about the transportation of your cars. With this Impala, like I said, it had. I mean, it probably would have made it back. It's 98 miles. I mean, it didn't run hot, but it's got that oil smell and smoke from. I mean, there's literally oil coming out of the cover, the gasket. Yeah, my mechanic texted me. Yeah, he actually said it's the lower intake, possibly. The Fusion has an exhaust issue, and it's so it got some, and it's also the bank is too lean on that. The Scion drove like a champ. Nothing is wrong with it. Only 128 on the dash. This Fusion 171. So I bring that up to say I wouldn't have really trusted these two cars at all to come to actually drive down. But again, to each his own. You know what I mean? To each his own. So if you are, at a point where you're buying cars 100 miles away from your car lot, with all things considered, I never want to be, and I have never been beside the interstate with a car I'm trying to get from the auction. I just don't believe in that. I believe that if you're in the business, you got to be willing to do it the right way. And like I said, I started out with paying transportations for my cars, and I think that's where I'm going to stay. Let's go to the comments here. Nick says, your 250 would have no problems with pulling the 3-car hot trailer. I don't think it would have any problem pulling it either. But I don't think I'm going to be pulling it. But I don't think it will have any problems either. Do you have a dollar cap on what you're buying? A dollar cap. Maybe I've answered that question with showing you what I buy. I'm gonna try to answer that question with the dollar cap on what you're buying. So I try to stay under $1,200 per car, and that's with the buy fee included. As far as so I think that answers your question. Our auction in Houston have crazy high prices. Yeah, you have to really. One thing about auctions, there is no such thing as a cheap auction, right? So I think that the first thing you need to learn is that fact that there is no such thing as a cheap auction. They will all be. They will have cheap inventory. You just got to find it. They will have expensive inventory. So what it is that you have to do, go back and watch. I'm going to show you which video you need to watch. This video will help you tremendously. Nick, let's see. I'm going to find it for you. So on my channel, I have so many videos that I just have to like make sure I point people in the right direction. And if you guys are liking this, go ahead and smash the like button on here so we can get that like up. And yeah, and I'm sure all of you guys are subscribed. I've seen all of you guys before, so I'm pretty sure you are subscribed to the channel. I'm waiting on this thing to load up. I want to show Nick the video he need to go and watch. Let's see. Switch here. And for all of you guys that are watching this on the replay, this is what you can expect when you subscribe to Grind Reloaded. We are a channel that's like none other, in my opinion, because I'm going to give it to you as much as I know. There's no holding back. I have nothing to lose, nothing to gain from it. I'm still a relatively small channel, so I'm not making any money by doing it. That's for sure. Let me get in here to pull up my video so I can cast this over to the screen here and show Nick which video he need to watch. Let's see, which one is it? All right, boom. This is the video. Hold on, guys. I'm almost there. Almost there. Go ahead and put your questions in. I'm waiting on more questions. Waiting on more questions. All right, Nick. So the video you need to go back and watch if you have not watched it already. And I gave, why isn't this page sliding over? Hold on. This video right here. If you can see that it's titled How to Find Auction Cars for Under $1,000. In that video, in that particular video, take your question off. In that particular video of how to find cars under $1,000, I actually go up to the cars. I actually go up to the cars and explain to you exactly why I came up to that car, why I think it will be under $1,000. And so you can, once you start going to the auctions, once you get your company open, Nick, you can kind of use some of those metrics. And I think that they will transcend into your flow, and you'll be able to really get a good idea of how to visually walk up to a car and say that thing has to sell for under $1,000. With knowing, I mean, value is one thing. Knowing your values, you got to know your values, and the more you go to auctions, you'll get a feel for what they typically go for as well. And that's just a matter of fact. All right. So I'm going to go back to the questions here. How much recon do you do? I've caught myself waiting to fix everything, but have to stop that. Yeah, for sure. Recon, I don't do much unless it's required for me to move the car. Meaning if I don't have to do that, I'm not going to do it. If it's just a quirk or something that maybe I should think about doing, then I disclose that to the buyer. And if that buyer wants to take on that task or that project, then it's their car and they will do that. Because you got to think about it. We're passing off savings. Whereas where somebody would put $200 in the car, they're going to mark it up by $700, right? So if I sell it to you as is and give you that, that opportunity to do it yourself, you're going to save a lot of money. So here's my metrics. If it cranks up, if it does not knock or tick, if it's knocking or ticking, you really shouldn't have bought it in the first place. But if you got, then I don't know about the engine stuff. I mean, as long as it still pull and run on its own power, I'll disclose that it's ticking. But essentially, it cranks up, engine works, transmission works. That's it. That's all I'm required, and that's all I wanted to do. All right. Booda Jackson has a question. If upgrade to a 2500, so you can pull 2 cars, will I be required to stop at weigh stations? You know of? Absolutely, you will, depending on how much weight you got. And that's why in the beginning of this conversation, I mentioned that. So if you are pulling a gooseneck trailer with 2 cars on there or 3 cars on there, you bet your butt you're going to get pulled over. And more than likely, you're going to be overweight. The DOT uses combination. So it's not just what's on the trailer. And that's where people go wrong. It's the whole trailer too. So it's the trailer plus the stuff that's on the trailer. That's how much weight you're pulling. So once you go over 10,000 pounds, technically, you are now considered a commercial vehicle. And by being a commercial vehicle, now you have to have a DOT number. You have to have requirements that the DOT requires. So realistically, once you go about 2 cars or more, then now you're really asking for it. But typically, once you're hauling a trailer with towing 2 cars on the back of there, and you go through that weigh station, they coming for you, period. And if you don't have your stuff in a row, it's going to be a very interesting time on that stop. Here's what you can do. Here's what you can do. You can go and get your CDLs. That's number one. That's one option. You can go and get your CDLs license, Class A. You can register for a DOT number. It's free to register for a DOT number. But you got to have insurance. You got to have logbooks. You got to have a medical card, right? So, or unsolicited information. I mean, it's up to you. You can avoid the weigh stations. It's illegal, but that's an option. All right. Nick says, would there be better luck going to auctions outside of Houston? I think wherever you can find the savings, go there. For me, I travel. So my car lot is in Phoenix City, right? I travel down to Albany, Georgia. I'll give you the lay of the land if you don't know. So Phoenix City is East Alabama. It is, no, it's West. No, it's East. Sorry. It's Southeast Alabama. It's right on the line of Georgia where Columbus sits. Albany is about 80 miles east of my lot. And then I buy cars in Atlanta, which is about 110 to 120 miles, depending on where you are, from Phoenix City. Okay. So my range, and then I also buy cars up in Cartersville, Georgia, which is easily 160 miles or about 150 miles from Phoenix City. So I have a pretty big range of where I go, but it's all about going to where you can get those savings. As long as you can keep it about $150, because again, if you do the $1 per mile, you're talking about $150 per car. So typically I don't like to pay more than $150 per car to have it shipped anywhere that from any location that I'm frequenting. But that's what I would say. I would say try to keep it within 150 miles of your car lot there. That way you're not spending a whole lot of money to get the car to your lot. And again, if it's a good car, okay, if it's a good car, then drive it. I'm not saying you have to ship every single car, but what I'm saying is if you have multiple cars, like 3 or 4 cars, then it's best that you have them professionally shipped so that way you can not have to worry about that. My little man up there is hollering. Okay, Nick said he'll watch that video. And we got somebody here. I guess that's a bot. Oh, no, that's not a bot. Happy Days. Sorry. I'm sorry. It just looked weird. New eBay Motors app. Do you use them? No, I have not used anything on eBay just yet. I may put my 2006 Ford F-250 Super Duty on eBay and give it a go. with eBay. I'm not sure. But no, I have not used eBay Motors. I am going to try it though. Here's what what I've learned about eBay from my friends in the business. I have a good friend. His name is MJ. And he sold a couple cars via eBay, I think, or at least he solicited a couple cars on eBay. And he does that to get a wider net. And with eBay, I think you have to have an impressive car. So like if you're doing classics, right? If you like with MJ, sometimes he does a lot of refurbishing of classic cars, like he'll do a 68 Nova, Mustangs and stuff like that. Those type of cars are wonderful for eBay because people from all over the world can get in there and negotiate on those cars. Whereas the type of cars that I sell, nah. People ain't coming from eBay. If they do, they will surprise me. Okay. Happy days. Wow. I was subscribed and didn't even know I'll start watching you. Thank you. Appreciate it. I appreciate the support for sure. All right. Do you put a pack on each car? What do you mean by pack? Give me more clarification about pack, Nick. Pack. You mean... Hey, I don't know what pack is, so I need some explanation on that. Explanation. And also, guys, don't forget Happy Days. You can jump on here with the link to jump up here and chat with me live. That's the link. And it's also in the chat. So if you just go up, if you're on YouTube, which you are on YouTube, scroll all the way up to the top and click on that link, and you can come here live on the screen with me, and you can have some Q&A, some dialogue. It's much more informal. Much more formal than informal. Yes, that's safe to say. To cover your insurance and overhead. Do you put a pack on each car to cover your insurance and overhead? Okay, I know what you're saying. You mean like an upcharge, like another fee, like a service fee where every car we inventory automatically upcharges the sales price like $100 or $200. I think that's what you're talking about. I don't do that if that is what you're talking about. The things that I upcharge, the things that I add into the car, and that's a good idea, Nick. I mean, it's really a good idea. I'm not saying it because it's not a good idea. It's a wonderful idea, but it just depends on your margins on what you get the car for. Okay. If you do not get the car for cheap, then those packs can be something else. I'm gonna send a message out. But yeah, if you cannot, if you get the cars for a cheap price, then yeah, the packs can be a good thing. But if you can't get the cars cheap, then they're not a good idea because again, your margins are in there to where if you buy the car for $1,200 and you have an automatic pack of $200. Plus, if you have like the transportation cost, saying you're at $325 or $350, if you start to have people sell the cars for you, that's another $125 commission, right? It can get kind of crazy. So that would be my advice to you. If you can get it cheap enough, then packs are good. I don't typically have them. What I typically do is just build in my transportation costs, and then I build in my commission for my sales manager. So going back to that slide I showed y'all with the cars that I bought yesterday, with those numbers, I'll add $350 onto those actual drive out those prices. So for instance, I'm not going to re-show it probably because it may be a little convoluted, but I may will. Hold on a second. Just so you can get a good idea of what it is that I am talking about. Let's see, is that casting? I'm gonna make that bigger. And then I'm gonna zoom in here. And again, guys, this is all new. So bear with your boy. All right, I want the price because every time I zoom in, it seems like the price goes away. So over here, you see the 355. So I would add 325 to that, right? And that would be my down payment because I'm adding the cost for the car to be shipped, 125, which was cheaper than that, but I'll just do 125 plus the 125 for paying my sales manager when she do sell it. So the down payment on that would be $705 if I'm doing my math right. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And then so forth and so on. So 990 plus 350, 790 plus 350. That's a good way to do it. And, you know, so yeah, let's get back to the questions. Dick says, yes, cool, thanks. All right. You got a nice house. Props to you. Okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. This ain't my house. This is a green screen. This is a background. My house do not look anything like that. But I do thank you for the compliment if that was my house. Yeah. So guys, I'm gonna if there's no more questions, I'm gonna get ready to end this bad boy. I thought we would have more people to come up here and hang out with me on the screen. The link is right there, and the link is in the chat box at the very top, where it says Grind Reloaded. Share that. So click on that link if you want to come on here and talk to me live. If you don't, let me see if we got any more questions. If not, we have done it. We've been on here 50 minutes. I hope I have enlightened you guys about transportation costs and all of that stuff. It's a good idea. It's a good idea to really consider the optics of shipping, driving, and hauling your own cars. There's a lot to it. If you want that burden, then do it. If you don't, then just sign up for a site called centraldispatch.com. Anybody can register. That's a used car dealer. It is a subscription base. I am not in any way getting any money, y'all. I ain't got nothing but 194 y'all subscribers. Ain't nobody giving me no money to say nothing right now. Okay. This is all about my experience and what I have found to be good for y'all. So thank you, Happy Days, for tuning in, and I hope that you will continue to catch me live. We do got one question. I got one from Booda. He slipped one in there. Booda says, thoughts on service contracts. Good question, Booda. Where I am in Alabama, there are a couple dealerships that offer service contracts, and I think they're a good thing, but I also think they are convoluted. They are cumbersome at best, right? They are good if you can offer them. For me, I don't offer them. For you, Booda, it may be a good idea because of the type of cars you're selling. You're selling kind of mid-tier type cars, and your cars are probably more expensive than mine. Anytime you can create a easement, if you will. I use my real estate, my broker mind, because I am a real estate broker as well. I use my broker vernacular. Anytime you can create an easement to overcome an objection, it's always good to have, right? So if you can team up with a service, a warranty company, and just offering the contracts, everybody may not accept it, everybody may not do it, but to have that affiliation already created to where you can offer it and already have that system in place, it's a wonderful idea. And it gives you more leverage to not have to say every car is sold as is. Now, do you stand behind that car? Heck no, it's sold as is, where it is. But if they want to do that service contract, I think it's a wonderful idea to be able to offer that to your consumers. Absolutely. It's just overcome the objection of, oh, what if something happens to it? Well, call 1-800, we fix your car. Whatever that, you know what I mean? Whatever the case may be. Do anybody else have any questions? Booda, I hope I answered that for you well. And real quick, do you guys like this platform of me showing the questions up here? And if you guys get out your head and you want to come up here and jump on set with me, do y'all like that? Just put in there yes if you do. I want to make sure what I'm doing is something that you guys like. If you don't like it, then I won't do it. Probably will still do it, but I know who don't like it. I know it's a little bit of a lag. Answer that question for me, guys. I do. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Thanks, man. Okay, this is gonna be my last question I answer because my wife is telling me to get off of here. Happy Day said, "What do you think about states that have a 15-day, 500-mile warranty?" Move. That's my answer. Move if you can, or if you can. If you're a neighbor in a state that does not have that requirement, I would probably try to open up out of state. if you can, because it just depends on what type of cars you're looking to sell. Happy Days. If you're looking to do what I do, which is buying cars under $1,200, buy here, pay here, no credit requirement, no income verification, but we do rental house resident verification, and we also do references. But if you want the same identical type of setup that I do, you're not going to be able to offer that 15-day 500 miles warranty, because the type of cars we sell, we can't stand behind them in that way. Most of the cars that I advertise, I always tell people it's a buy here. It's a A to B car. It's not guaranteed to get you nowhere it's not guaranteed to last forever. And so I don't stand behind any of them in that way. What I do stand behind is transparency of telling you what's wrong with it if I see anything that is wrong with it. So if you are in that state, my first option would be to have you consider looking at your neighboring state, look at what their requirements are. If it's favorable, if you don't need to have a resident status in that state, definitely check on that to make sure you don't have to live in the state to open a business, open a car dealership there. And if that is the case, I would go across the border if I can, because it just makes your life a lot easier as well. All right, guys, thank y'all for watching, and I will see you guys very soon. I may try to come on tomorrow. If not tomorrow, definitely Saturday. Have your questions ready. I will be dropping my video tomorrow about my 250 Super Duty. I also had to put my Super Duty back in the shop yesterday after it got bulletproof. So we'll talk about that too. So until next time, y'all take care. Y'all stay safe and wash your hands. Peace, guys.